Being a runner means doing Lucci's routine and getting used to carry so many backpacks that your muscles will start laughing at each other. Yeah, we're not surprised, runners are the most important classes in the whole game, since it's the one that connects the other two, because the attacker clears the way for the runner, and the runner captures the flag so that the defender can recharge it. Therefore, with the arrival of new players and the new events of Bounty Rush, surely many of you have decided to learn how to play better with this kind of character. So, what do you think if we dissect with the runner class itself? What type of runners are there? Because not everyone plays the same. The first thing we have to recognize is what the runner you have in mind is made for. We can divide them into three. Those who are very aggressive, the passive and the trance classy that are played in different ways. First, we go with the passive ones or pure runners. This will be the ones who are dedicated to capturing the flag, without thinking too much about entering into a direct confrontation with the defender. In fact, if possible, they will avoid it. Within this, it's very likely that they will have little damage, so it would be useless for you to attack them. The best pure runner out there is today is probably Jinbe or Neji. They can compensate the lack of damage with the incredible ability to capture almost any flag of any defender in the game. Secondly, there are aggressive ones, those who have high damage ability, and occasionally you can find them fighting. But even then, they mustn't forget that they are still runners. For example, we find that the best aggressive runner is the last version of Luffy. With both of his skills too, he can inflict massive damage to anyone who relies on damage reduction mitigations, or if you're a Navy, such as Aramaki, Kizaru, or even Garb. Also, on both of his skills, one, the mobility. Every runner needs like a teleport to flags or a running skill with his giant head. These abilities grants him the possibility to decide whether you want to fight or whether you want to capture. And in the tier subtype are the trance classes. Yeah, it's a weird name, right? These have already gone too far from just being aggressive, but not enough to consider them as a pure attacker. Their main class doesn't serve too much. Like to make the feint, they still maintain the classic capture speed traits. One of the best trance class runners there could be Shanks Light or Kid Law dual units. These are two characters who have no mobility, but have really high damage in their respective metas. They maintain their capture speed, but they're focused on defeating the enemy and then capturing the flag, since they kinda jump from flag to flag as any of the other runners could do. And specifically in the peculiar case of Yamato, although he is the only one of all here who has a dash type mobility, he is usually not focused on capturing flags, or multiple ones, but on defending them once he gets it. In fact, I would say that this is like a runner defender, because once it achieves it, it remains a moment into the flag to prevent it from being captured again. And of course, this does not mean you cannot play as a trance-class runner or an aggressive runner as a pure runner. But overall, they would be more effective if they are played the way they were designed. But despite the difference, everyone shares something in common, which is the most important class of the game. They must always be at least one runner in your team. At the start of the game, when they start to choose, see how many runners your team has. If you're sadly the only one, it would be better for your team if you only play a runner that game. Because a team without runners has a higher chance to lose if the enemy one does have them. And regarding the map, if you have the opportunity to choose the time slot in which you're going to play, try to avoid this Rosa stage maps because it's a small map. Attacks rings from all sides, and usually these runners do not have much resistance or area attacks to fight back. But if you're gonna play that map anyway, I'd recommend the ones that are aggressive or the trance classes. But then again, this doesn't mean that the others are totally useless. For pure runners, the best are the ones that are larger, such as Runes of Shandora or Thriller Bark. The strategy usually differs from map to map, but what most do have in common is that the flag in the middle is the most important of all. So you probably wonder which flag should you capture at the beginning. And first, it depends on the character you have and the one the enemy has. Usually, runners try to get the middle flag just at the beginning of the game. So, a meeting of runners within the first 30 seconds of the game is inevitable. If you're a Shanks, a Kid Law, a Yamato, rest assured that if the enemy has a Blueno, a Sabo, or a Lucci, it is most likely that they are the faster ones and they will win the flag of the middle. So it doesn't make sense to start head on there. Speedster runners should capture the medium. But since you will be exposed, hopefully your attacker in the back will help you and luckily retreat alive. In other cases, if you're not one of them like Shank like, then you should better go to the second flag. capture it to get maybe your hacky state, and then get ready to attack the enemy runner that really captured the middle flag. Maybe a Kamisari will do. In summary, there could be 3 cases. The first is that both teams have speedster runners. This will depend a lot on which character it is, your dodging skills, and how fast you can get to the middle. In the second case, you are a runner without mobility and you face a speedster runner, so better to capture the second one. And in the third one, if you are a runner, whoever you are, and the enemy no longer has a runner, you have the advantage. You need to get the middle as fast as you can. But whatever you do, do not capture the first flag, the one that is in your base. It would be a waste. Even though the Snakebang meme is really funny and I don't want him to die, please remind yourself that it's just a meme. Don't do it. And there is also exceptions. Keep in mind that very few runners have additional advantages when they capture the flag, but not just any advantage, but one for the team or for themselves, other than just healing. For example, for Orobi and Nami from Film Red, both, every time they capture the flag, they will increase the team boost gauge more than they normally do. Therefore, in this case, if you are one of them, as you're not good to fight, it would be better to stay in the first flag and capture it, or the closest to base, of course. Similar is also the case of Luffy Egghead, who is a teleporter, another different class of runners, and he will gain capture speed every time he captures the flag, up to a maximum of 80%. So in other words, the more flags you capture, the faster you will get the flags than other runners. In this case, leaving the first flag to them should be an obligation. So it's a little difficult to classify the teleporters because each one has its own gameplay, but if you want to know which one has those kind of skills within the most important runners of the game, I'll give you this image. These have a list that you can review, although this one is quite small. So we already know which flag to capture. Now what do we do? After that, do you go blank or do you think of something else? The best things would be avoid the middle flag for a moment. Try to capture the farthest flags. Although here is a little complex to try to find a strategy that works in all cases, because each map is different, each enemy is different, so it would depend on you to try to decide what's next. But there's something I can tell you, that you, as a runner, you have the work, besides capturing the flag, to divide the pressure. Usually after capturing the first flag, the fight goes to the middle and people crowd like looking for some kills, usually attackers. That makes you in a bad position. So let's understand that this is the agglomeration of people. This is the pressure. What you have to do is to relieve the pressure, to divide, to split up. Even if you're an aggressive runner, don't let all the fights concentrate in the middle. Here, the composition of teams also influences a lot, but in general, you should always avoid crowding in places. Unless, of course, you're winning 5-0, but to start the game, that's not usually the case. Now, we are almost done with the game. The last 30 seconds remain. What do we do? For that, you will have a rule that you must remember. There are 30 seconds left. You as a runner, look at the map. You're losing much more urgently. Identify which flag is unprotected, which one you can aim to capture, and go towards it if possible. The same games give you a notification that there are 30 seconds left, so it should be your way to wake up. If you're fighting too much as a runner, Shanks or Luffy G5, just look at the map. If you can go to another flag, do it. The defender is probably following you, so that's another factor to take into account. Will you arrive to the first flag you look, or will the defender arrive and won't let you capture? You need to think faster. There are fewer and fewer seconds left, and very soon we'll know who will win the battle. I don't think you want to lose the last second, seeing you do only like 0.5 seconds to capture the flag, or am I wrong? Because of that, you should have given good medals to your character before starting the game. But I don't mean that they are extravagant, super difficult medal to get. But in the simplest ways, it's just to check that your medals will be effective as long as they have tags for capture speed. You need to combine 3 of the same tag. For runners, it seems that the almost mandatory for the 99% of them is to carry triple tags of capture speed. This is a passive that they will activate immediately starting the game. 20%, and you can always rely on this, no matter what. Is the least I expect as a good runner. The best known tags for this is the captain one. Therefore, triple Boa, triple Kaido, triple Luffy will always have this active. Don't go to your games without having a triple capture speed tag. Or even better, if you have the royalty one, you can go to the limits. that will be more important than anything else in the medals. On the screen, you can see a comparison of how much difference a runner makes who catches without medals and someone who has triple capture speed tag. Even if it's a couple of seconds, it does make a difference and much more than you think. And about statistics, well, it depends. Again, a lot on the characters you're using, but in general, pure runners don't usually attack so much, or they don't need attack. For aggressive ones or trunks class, almost always go for 70% of attack, and don't leave aside the 70% of HP, which is necessary statistics to mitigate the damage. I don't recommend the defense too much. If you're an aggressive one, that will be for another video. So now you know everything important for runners of this game, since the beginning assembling your set to the last seconds of the game. The advice that I can most rescue of all this is that you are a runner after all, so you are the one who captures the flag, no matter how aggressive you are. Please wear a triple or minimum of a double capture speed tag, depending on how many medals you can wear. This is a very important thing to do. It doesn't matter what you're using. The only thing that matters is you have this triple capture tag. So, I would be very grateful if you help me with this with a share, a like, a comment. I'm just starting this new world of Bounty Rush. Or should I say, in this language, because I already have a channel from some quite time now that you can check in the description of the video. So I hope I didn't come out so long. As always, I thank you for going all the way and for supporting the channel in any way you can. My name is Hito for you, and I hope you enjoyed the game. With me will be until the next time. Adieu.